Baruch Hashem Yutes Elul Shnas Hakel, 22nd day in the limud of the Hemshech of the Rebbe Rashab Tafresh Samach Vov. So yesterday we started Maamer Viכולו, השמים, which in doing so continued the discussion in that the is nishtalshal from every single madrega, and there's this level of keser which is higher than rata. And in this Maamer we introduced the idea of zmanim, that every level of ratan and every level of keser is higher than the b'china of zman of its madrega. So even though even Atzilus, which is l'mayla v'azman, it still has a seder azmanim, but the seder azmanim starts in chachma and not in keser. As we explained, that whole idea of zman comes from ratzui v'shuv. Or later we said the fact that chayas starts and stops, or the idea that something could be continuous for a certain amount of time, kisha'a ushtayim, but something which never stops and is constantly continuing, and nimshach bli soif, that does not have the concept of a zman. Only the starting and stopping creates a new zman, a new amshacha, like the Yud Beis Tziruf Hashem Avaya, which created a new amshacha, and a new chayas, which is a brand new chayas in every single minute. We're going to start here, towards the end of page Mem Beis, Omnam, B'chinas HaRatzon Shebechol Olam, the level of a ratzon, that we said earlier, is keser in every olam, V'lamayim B'chinas HaZman Shelo, it's higher than its zman. Hine Ratzon V'shuv, K'shachayas B'chinas Gilun M'karei. This idea of Ratzon V'shuv, that you go, that you're drawn back to the Eibishter and then you come back to L'mkaimai, Chayzer L'mkaimai. This idea is only when you're revealed, you're far from your source. And you're enclosed in a limited keli. We said earlier in the machshava that there's different levels in the machshava. There's the way the machshava is called in the makara, but then there is machshava where it's limited. And the machshava on its own. The machshava atzma and the machshava begilusha chayshava inyan. This is that you think in a specific concept. However, mitzias machshava creates an existence of a thought. Not like the koyach of the thought, the ability to think, which that's fully included in the source and not a davar nifrat. Specifically when the machshava now becomes limited. That it's in oisis. She mitzias morgish mamash, it's mamash felt. Same idea is light, that when it comes out, it's fully felt. And then once it's out of its state of kol v'mukare, it's now either an amshacha upon him, or it is already enclosed in kelim. So it's a mahuzar, like we said. It's distant from Mukare, restricted to the Kol Mukare, but not just wants to go out of its limitation, will scald Mukare and be combined with its source. This is the general idea of Ratzoi, the definition of Ratzoi. Sheroitza Lotzis in a Kli, you want to go out of the Kli and become back to regular earths. When you're going out, you're still in the Kli, and you're separated. You're running towards something. How is it to say that you're running to something if you're already included in the source? When you're in the keli, and you're distant from your source. Close in the idea of ratzoi. The idea of ratzoi is istalkos. We said earlier that zman, yesterday we said that zman is istalkos v'spashtos. The idea of ratzoi, when you're being drawn back to your source, the idea of istalkos, leaving your current state. The Lagabi the keli, which you were in there, where the was just in there, you're for sure status. You're living the keli. You're going back to be like kol to become ois mitzias. But he says, when you're in a state of ratzoi, even lagabi the your status, the ma'achim slavish ba'kli. Once you're enclosed in a clear area, you're distance from the etzem. You're now a new existence. Now you became an existence of not just that comes out of the mar, which is kalul, specifically the color, which the kli affects in the because of this, you are a separated essence. Okay, When you're in the state of ratzoi, when you're being drawn back to your source, you're changing or leaving from one entity to another one. Something which is not at your level at all. So this now becomes going up, climbing up the stairs. You're now removed from one existence to another mitzias. To your source, from your existence to a source, which is not at all a source according to your level. On the other hand. So this we're all talking about the level of rotzai, or the level of keser. Sorry, this we're all talking about earlier, which are the Slavish and the Keli, and now they're having rotzai. They're going back to their source. The initial source of the elements. The level of Ratzai. It never ever is drawn down in a state of separation or a state of distance, like we said earlier. That the Nefesh is always part of the Ratzai. And Bistalik Nefesh, the Ratzai is non-existent. It's only the beginning of the draw, and it's still concealed. And still fully combined in the source. It's not shaykh, the idea of being drawn or running back to your source. You're never distant. We said earlier that after when you're in the cave, it's shaykh to say because you're running to a specific thing. But if you're still included in your source, if you're already included in your source, where are you running to? It's not any other type of existence. It's not shaykh ratzai. Ella, at the end of the day, it's a little bit drawn. It's takas from Kuroi, but it's still a little bit nimshach not outside, but into a ratzai. There's still the koyach ratzai in something. But now it gets re-included. Anything that's drawn, if you could be nimshach, it could be re-niskala. So that gets back to Hamshach, because now you have Giloi, but upon him there's Epson Hamshach. Mati v'loy mati. This b'china is called Mati v'loy mati. Going and not going. What's pshat? Spreading and not spreading. It's mispashet, ve'enim mispashet. V'loy b'china s'ratze v'shut. The Ratzu b'china s'merutza v'yitzir b'china s'status. Ratzu is the idea of leaving somewhere and going somewhere else. The Ratzu is leaving. Shum is being spreading and settling. Now it's revealed in the Kli. Both Ratzah and Shum are not by Ratzah. The Ratzah it's never running back. It's not leaving any existence because it's not in existence. All we're doing, the Mati or the Ratzah by Ratzah is creating a lack of the minimalist pashtus that was happening before. Or it's creating a scholarless yoyser in Mekayr. But it's not a pashtus by instruction of, but it's not a merutza by instruction of imagination. So that gets more included. It's not ratzu, there's no running, there's no leaving, there's no exiting. It was never distance, it never settled in a cleat. It always was because it's scholars. The beginning was a little bit drawn out, kind of about in its own essence, but not revealed. Like you have that's colored in the etzem of the Eberstein. Because the is not, the earth is separate from Matzmusay, but it's Matzmusay. It's drawn out in the open of the scholars. So within the source, there's a separation. But you can't call it a separation because it's still included in the source. So for our seichel, we could call it that something different, but it's within the scholars. But by no way is it a spashtus or something else. So this idea of Ratzoi is no Merutza. This that is it's more included, more combined with the makar. And it should not be drawn down like this. And all it is a lack of spreading, and that it's not being misyasher, not being mispashet. So too, mati, which is talking about shuv, that right, loy mati goes in ratu because it's not the of running back. The Hamshach, which is called mati, shuv, showing and gilui mamash. Shuv is when it's fully based mashlos. And it's settling in. Shaking kam. Even when it's drawn and spread out, it's not revealed. It's drawn a little bit. And the behelim is concealed, and it's still combined in that sense. The oil that goes into the canal. Even when it's being drawn, it's merutza, so it has to be in the kelim. Here's the other way around. Even when it's settled, so by or in kelim, rotze and shuv are both in the kelim. Here, mati v'loy mati are both still within the skalus. So, because even this pashtus is not pashtus in any way. A new klal. And the loy mati is a skalus yoser. But by no way is this rotze and shuv. The oizois mashenikra mati v'loy mati. Mispashet, then mispashet. Also, this is called mati v'loy mati, that it's spreading and not spreading. This is not coming mitzad the ur, that the ur is rotze, the ur is shuv. Rather, this is all being controlled by atos. Hemshech v'loy mati. Beside the level of loy mati, that it's einem mispashet. Hemshech mati, even this pashtus. The rotze v'shuv sheba ur b'ur mitzad atos. Rotze v'shuv an ur, the ur is doing. Loy mitzad b'ker, not because of its source. Your distance from your source. Where the source isn't creating in a keli to want to be drawn to it. That can't that it's it wants to be included and close to its source. If you want to have rotze to the Eibshter, you have to avoid in his benus. Think about the Eibshter. How the Eibshter is the malach column, the seventh column, and they show rotze ma'atzma. You on your own create your own rotze. And if you got little cushion, you're on your kelim, you're the geichen alakus. Not that the Eibshter reveals in you, and through that triggers rotze. The boyfriend goes over and says, "Tanukin." This is a level of tanukin. I'm Ashkasa with Sefer and Sefer Agmem, it doesn't tell you understand the greatness of the Eibshter. The whole Meruchik was at your distance from it. You on your own, creates a state where you want to become drawn and included, combined with the Eibshter. The level of Ratzoi, which does not have Ratzoi Meshuv, rather Mati V'loi Mati, V'loi Mati, Shukin and Ratzoi, the V'loi Mati, which is the Einem Mispashet, but it's like Ratzoi, which is again the Merutza, the Nichol, the Chayzer, the Nichol Mekirei, Ein Zem Tzad Atzma Asakos. It's not that Ratzoi Nepzera Hasagan Alakus, Kim Tzad Hamakar, the source. Hamakar Meir B'Megil Mar, which since the source is constantly revealed in the Ratzoi, even in the state of a Lemati. It's always a scholars from Mekirei. So it's another reason why it's not Shach say Ratzoi, because it's not mitzad the Tachtin, rather mitzad the Makar. It's not Ratzoi of its own. Mitzad the Makar levad, the source on its own creates the state of Ratzoi, of a loy mati. So this idea of mati v'loy mati, where it's not really a Ratzoi v'shuv, rather it's a P'chinas espashtos v'heder espashtos, or chayzer v'nichla, which is triggered in the mitzad the Maila. Yesh pizkam b'sfiras ha'galuyos. We also have this idea in the revealed spheres, which are not keser. The 9 spheres that come afterwards. Chachmo bina chagasanim. Or chachmo bina das netzach ha'disayt. Chesed word the verse netzach ha'disayt. Depending if Malchus is considered keser or das here. We should discuss different places. When there's the level of shuv, There's a level of Ispashtus in Keser, Loimati, there's a level of Heder Ispashtus B'Chachma. Heder Kasher or Keser. Nichlal or the Chachma B'Keser. So this creates a Loimati, this creates a Chachma should now have a Rotzi to Keser. Kshemati B'Chachma, when the level of is an oifen of Isyashlus. In the level of Isyashlus, Mitzad of Makar. In Chachma, Loimati, the Bina, this creates a Skalvus of Bina. Shloimah, the B'china Zu, Yesh Kan B'chinas Rotzai. Even though we're using the term Mati V'Loimati, here it's still already a level of Rotzai, so it's not the same, it's still not the same like Keser. Because you could ask, what's the big uftu of Keser if Mati V'Loimati is shaykh also by the spirit seculars? So you say, no, here, it's not real Mati V'Loimati, rather here it's more Rotzai V'Shuv, whereas by Keser, there's the idea of Mati V'Loimati. What about Tanugim? She's always had the Urshamer Begilui, so Taket was had the Urshamer Begilui. So it's not necessarily inside your avoid on your own. Still, Yesh Kan Mikol Mokoim, B'chinas HaRotzei. There's still the level of Rotzei, Masher Rotzei, Nim Shechli Davik. You're still running and you want to go connected. Whereas Mati doesn't have, Loi Mati doesn't have that at all. Loi Mati, we said earlier, there's no Merutza, Me'achar She'enem Meruchak. But Tanugim, Taket's not mitzad. So this last paragraph that we said, the difference of Mati V'Mati and Rotzei V'Shuv, that's mitzad the or mitzad the Makar, that maybe by Tanugim is not, is still like the Mati V'Mati. But still, there is a level of Merutza, right? Now it's not a Merutza because you're thirsty, Velikos. This is still when you're far. When you're having pleasure over the earth, there's no idea of thirst. There's still the level of Rotzei, which means the aspect of Rotzei, the criteria of Rotzei, or the effect of Rotzei exists. Your whole essence is drawn. You're fully drawn. Why does it have this different effect? Let's say, at the end of the day, even by this level of Ab Tanugim, or these levels of Loi Mati B'Chachma, Loi Mati B'Bina, you're still in a level of Metzias, let's say, there's still a level of Ratzei. That's before you're fully already drawn in the air. Once you become fully connected, then you're not shaykh Ratzei. Like we already said, even in the air of the Keli, once it leaves the Keli, ain't shaykh Merutza, right? However, even then when you're niduk ba'ar, there is still a level of Ratzei. You don't feel it. You're already then drawn and connected to your source. And you're not standing on your own. And the same idea, we go back to Ratzei, which this is talking about a level of Tanugim where you already were Nichlal Davuk Bar. Even though there is a hidden Ratzei, it's not shaykh to say that it's Merutza, that it's running anywhere or drawn anywhere. You call them you're already included in your makar, but anyway, it's Merutza, it's not in a state of running. In a nirgash, you're also not felt. It's also not felt. Specifically, this is even more understood or more stressed, according to what we explained earlier. Close in the Ratzon Rakatais HaNefesh. Ratzon is only tilting the Nefesh or bending the Nefesh one way or another. It's never an existence on its own. Only tilting the soul. It's never an essence on its own. All it is bending the Atmos to want. But even though there's for sure, there is a level of Ratzon, so there is, like we said earlier, Ratzon, the Atmos, which said which Atmos some way lowers itself, because before that it was not shaykh to have this Ratzon at all. But even after you want, so it's a level where it wants, but it's still the Atmos that wants. And at some level where the Atmos wants, that's where Ratzon is created. But it's all mitzad Atmos. And without the Atmos wanting, there is no existence for Ratzon. But the main strength over here, the main player in this type of his Hamshacha is Atzmos. Whereas by the other Eretz, so the Eretz HaGeluyim, even though there's Shaykh the idea of Mati V'loi Mati, it's still the Iker Mitzad the Ur Lamata, or still an element of Ratzon. On this level of being combined, it's not Shaykh to say the level. It's not Shaykh to say anything of Hiskalalus. Heder hispashtus. The only way to refer to it is a lack of spreading. Something which is not part of Atmos, you could say that it's being drawn up. The like we just said, it's a lack of spreading. This is the level of the loimati, the level of non-spreading, whereas there's still the element of a little bit of Hamshacha. When there's an actual light of Ur, this is not a B'chinas Gila Atmos, rather Ur Mitzumtzah. El Gilu B'chinas Ur Levad. That's how you could say it's settled in and became a Mos Davar in another Keli. The B'chilu B'chinas Status, this Ur was removed, it returned. When it's drawn, the Atmos is drawn. Okay, now, Atmos, all Ratzin is bending, the Nefesh are bending, the Atmos, tilting it one way or another, in the Shaklam al Tashok, because it was never B'chinas Stalchos, Give B'chinas Mati. Zonin Mati, B'chinas Pashtos, it's a level of Pashtos, but not a level of settling. Vichlos. B'chinas or the future Mitzad Atzmai, back in the paragraph we said earlier, it's because it's Mitzad itself, and it's B'chinas Atzmai. General level, this is at the end of the day what causes it. Mitzad Atzmai is Ratzon B'Shuv. Ratzon B'Shuv Mitzad Atzmai. Ain't a Shaykh to say Ratzon B'Shuv. Ki Mash Mispashit. Ain't a Mispashit. It's only Shaykh to have these levels of spreading and unspreading. Zeh Hoya Madrigas Rashvi. This is the level of Shum Ben Yechai. Shamar Ein Miduzut Taf Tzadwei Tomlaf. Chat Ketira is Ketarna Nishma Sibei Achida Bei Lehita. With one knot, my neshama is tied. I'm one with him, and I'm flaming up with him. The idea of bringing up man nukvin, is that the idea of going out of your limitations. It's only shaykh to go out of your limitations and have halas man when you're in a level of a kli, you're in a level of a vessel. The idea of going up is that you're removed from one mohos to another mohos. That you are somewhat of an existence. We'll continue from the Madrigas Rashbi